The Girl from Plainville, an amazing Hulu series which is in drama genre. It was out in March 29 and was about the story of two amazing young couple who were truly in love, as they were called Romeo and Juliet of their own time. The story is based on a true story of a texting suicide case with care. The series are starred by the amazing and talented young artist and actress Elle Fanning. But today we are not here to talk about her. We actually do want to take a deep look into the case behind this true story and to know the dark secrets about this movie. Let's start with the story itself, which is also all true. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to be a part of Legend Club channel. And also you can hit the bell button so you will be the first one to know whenever we post a new video. Now we go with today's video. The real and dark story behind the Girl from Plainville movie. The story revolves around two main characters, Michelle Carter, played by Elle Fanning, and Conrad Roy III, played by Colton Ryan. At the first look to the case, you would see an amazing and sparkling love between two young couples like Juliet and Romeo, as they explained it would be. As the story turns to an amazingly mysterious story, but unfortunately leads to Conrad's death. A lovely romance story which went to a dark and mysterious murder story. All the details being said are exactly in the movie, so there might be a little bit of a spoil here, but don't worry because the case is that much interesting that you could watch the movie for 1,000 times. Let's see how Miss Carter and Roy met. These two young people met each other in 2012 when they were on a holiday with their family members in Florida. And the holiday romance started there. But then it turned into a long-distance relationship. But unfortunately, they were not seeing each other that much, as most of the long-distance relationships are. And the relationship was based mostly on text messages and DMs. But it all starts here, when the text they've been sending each other was not all about love letters and stuff. It was about some suicidal thoughts that Conrad was sharing with Carter. Roy was an amazing boy, but unfortunately he was suffering from anxiety and depression. He was 18-year-old at the time that this story happened. But it was to mention that the November before all the things that happened, he had attempted to do a suicide for the first time by swallowing a bottle of Tylenol. Yes, you've heard the S word, and whenever you hear that, you may be surprised what would happen at the end. And unfortunately, for Roy was death. In July 13th, 2014, his body was found in the truck he had, which was his grandpa's, after he had filled the truck with carbon monoxide and he poisoned himself, which was a suicide. At that time, Roy was 18 years old and he had died on the day. Everything gets twisted when in February 2015, Carter was charged because of his suicide, her boyfriend's suicide. But what was happening? Was Michelle Carter really guilty? As mentioned before, Roy was full of anxiety and depression. He shared his suicidal thoughts so many times with Michelle Carter, but the responses were not exactly what you think it was. It looked like Michelle was helping, encouraging, and even making him to do the suicide. If you watch the trailer of the series, you can see that 1 month before his suicide, he had told Carter that their romance and their love story could be like Romeo and Juliet, which seemed to be unbelievable for Carter and even upsetting, as she responded, "We are not dying, that's not funny." But it seems like she immediately changed her mind. Hundreds of messages, emails, and phone calls were released after Roy's death, showing Carter encouraging his boyfriend to commit suicide. Some of the texts were first revealed to Roy's family after his death. The family were confused as if they really didn't know who Michelle is, but she insisted that she loved their son so much. And even in the time the police was investigating on the death of Roy, at the same time, Carter held a school fundraiser for suicide prevention in Roy's honor. And she held it exactly on Roy's 19th birthday. She invited all the family members of Roy's and everyone was there, but people could be seen that they are confused. What is happening here? Who is Michelle Carter? After the release of texts, we could see a text that Carter sent to a friend after Roy's death. You could clearly see in the text that she was not only encouraging him to do so, but when he was in the middle of poisoning himself in the car, he got scared and got out, but texted Carter. I think that was the biggest mistake he could have done. And then Carter wrote to him to get back in. You should do it. Don't be scared. Don't be such a coward. Let's not forget that Carter also suffered from mental health issues of her own, with a history of self-harm and even eating disorders. So we are confused here. Was she really a manipulative lawyer or just entirely out of her mind and control? There was also another text on the day that Rose died, saying, Roy, you keep pushing it off and say you'll do it, but you never do. It's always gonna be that way if you don't take actions. And yes, of course, words could kill. But after 12 hours of his death, she sent another message and said, Conrad, I love you so much. Please tell me this is a joke. I'm so sorry. I didn't think you were being serious. I need you. Please answer me. Another question sticks on the mind. Was it a sign of guilt or a cover-up? We would never know. Finally, on July 6, 2017, Carter was known to be guilty for encouraging an 18-year-old boy, Conrad Roy III, to kill himself in July 2014. But where is Michelle Carter now? At the time in the trial, she was 22 years old. Then she was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. Although after only serving 11 months in prison, she was being released because of her good behavior. And we know, although she hadn't been physically harmed Roy, but he died, and the court ruled she had been virtually prison, which is unfortunately the thing we are facing with every day. We are dealing with thousands of negative words on the internet, social media, and the things we don't know is that words could kill and words could heal. And now Roy's mother has been advocating for Massachusetts to create a law that would make coerced suicide a crime, as this was an unfortunate and upsetting case. But maybe this way we would think more of our words, what we say online, what we say to people, and that if we could really stop a crime, we could really stop a suicide, we would do so. I strongly recommend The Girl from Plainville to you to watch it on Hulu in the US or other countries. Hope you're having a great and amazing time wherever you are. Until the next video from The Legend Club.